So, since I last streamed, I've done a ton of this thing. So the other day we made just the basis of this and these outside grids, and now I've added all this other stuff. Lots of complicated things going on, and I've also got which one are you? You are power pylon. So I've made the power pylon battery things, and these are separate pieces in this bit where this little leaves can extend up. In theory, obviously I can't do that in plasticity because it's not animation software. I've also got this small capsule, which is just these bits here, and again they can move this bit independently, so if I'm animating it, that could inject into there. And I started getting a bit crazy with playing with the pipe tools to sort of make these outlines and cutting into all these sections. So this is one of the most detailed pieces. It's one of the smallest pieces of this project. Now the problem with these is that if I go into Maya or whatever to render it, setting up materials and all this stuff without being able to have them as separate pieces is going to be an absolute nightmare, especially with arrays like this, where the easiest way to do it is going to be to get rid of apparently my audio was coming back on myself with delay. Sorry about that. So yeah, with these, the easiest way would be actually to delete most of these, do one of them, and then replicate them again in Maya, which isn't ideal, but I can accept that's kind of realistic. One of the cool things I did was with these, I'm imagining these to be like computer panels or servers or something like that. I used the text tool to actually cut those in, which is a real pain in plasticity, because you can't like duplicate text and then change it. You have to do each one of these individually, and each letter is individual as well. So this took some time, but I think the result's cool. I wouldn't want to do a ton of that. Hopefully the text tool will get improved at some point and maybe create an object that you can change until you sort of commit it, so that you could duplicate it and set it up in a bunch of places with different text. What else did I do that was cool? I made these little lights so that I can have a consistent light with a consistent size all over the place. And again, these will be horrendous to do in Maya, to do them individually. Man, why do I always start yawning when I start streaming? I guess it's because I don't talk for most of the day. So I finished these off. We sort of got to the point where the basic structure of these was done the other day when I streamed, but I hadn't got these outside girders on, and I decided to go fairly far on the back, and actually have them come out at the side a little bit as well, so they really do add some structure element. I still do want to add some stuff to the outside of these, whether that's solar panels or something, but I want to do something cool on the outside. And then I made these just kind of funky anime connecty girdery bits as well. On the internal as well, I did put a door. In the scale of the current project, it's about 1.5 meters high, which is big enough that a human could sort of bend over and get inside it. I think I would probably, given if that's the scale, if that's like 1.5 meters, then the whole thing's probably, I don't know. I guess if I'm pretending this is a real scale, we can find out exactly how tall it is. Not very big, I would say. 30 meters. By the time you add in all this nonsense. Oh man, I'm yawning all over the place. I just took a nap. Can't really see the text up there. Let's zoom in and see if we can. So by about 8 meters. So 30 by about 8. So it is pretty small. I mean, 8 meters wide. It's not very big. But man, adding that bottom section. Oh, sorry, that's a new buggy thing that I've encountered when you move from an ISO view to a perspective view. But adding this bit's kind of crazy. You see there's a little bit of stuff popping through there, but you don't see it when you zoom in because that's where I've got the lamp and the capsule and stuff are all like hidden here. I should actually hide the light. That's the bottom of the fuel capsule, which obviously, I would intend to hide them, but I was replicating the power pylon earlier and using it for stuff, so I did not. So what I've still got to do is build the actual lens array cannon fiery bit here, which isn't going to have a ton of room in the middle because it's got all these. There's 6. You fit 6 of these around the outside, so at this point it can only be this wide, and it can obviously only be that wide there. So we're looking at something like, at biggest, something like that, which, isn't going to be huge, but I only intend it to be sort of another sort of mesh. This is what I'm thinking at the moment. This would be some sort of structural thing with some lens-looking parts inside it, and then maybe some sort of sci-fi, like these kind of things with the like little radar dishes. I don't know. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do there. But that's probably what I'm going to work on now. And the other thing I have to do is decide exactly how the power pylons are going to attach. They were originally just going to stick to the halo, but I did make the halo so that it looks like it moves. Oh God, I hope that gets fixed soon. So if I stick X-ray mode on, so that will actually give me some reference points. There's a square element in here, and that's the center of the thing. So these can actually rotate. They can't go all the way up. They can only go to about 50-something degrees before they run into each other, because I didn't even think about it when I was modeling them. It would be cool if they would go together, but the way I angled this piece, they can't. So it's sort of a choice between, does it get to look cool or does it get to does it get to animate properly? Even though this was unintentional, it does. Looking cool was not unintentional. Even though it was an accident that they can't close up now, I think the appearance of it outweighs the impracticality there. So they don't move particularly far. So between not being able to move these very much and they could probably go down a little bit more. But between that and the fact that if I stick the pylons out here, like out the side here, they'll run into these elements. I'm not sure exactly what to do with them. So what I thinking... Oh, you just have to excuse the yawning. Oh God, it's done again. What I'm thinking, actually I want this view, is that I might actually make some sort of hinge thing for them, so that, say I were going to animate this, what would happen, I think, is that they would start... God, this is just the most annoying little bug. It's only happened since the new orbit stuff was put in, so I assume it's just something that's going to have to be tweaked to cover more scenarios. So if I move this, let's say minus 45, okay, don't be minus 45. I don't know whether that was plasticity or my keyboard, because part of my keyboard is not the healthiest. There was an accident a while ago, and I thought I was going to lose my whole keyboard, but thankfully I didn't. And unfortunately, I really like this keyboard. They don't make them anymore, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. All right, so if we put those both up 40-ish, I think that's about as far as we can go before those. In fact, they might be coinciding now. Yeah, they are coinciding now. So can't even go 40 degrees. Anyway, so the idea would be, I think, that what I might do is have the power pylons sitting. Now they are long enough that at this angle they do hit each other if I just stick them up. So what I'm thinking is if I have them on some sort of hinge mechanism and put them upright, or maybe this sort of angle where they won't hit each other, as these come down, they could rotate out to the side, and then that would give them a theoretically like a sort of vision of these doodads, and the pylons have their little leaves that they'll open up as well, that could potentially interact. I'm not going to do a full special effects on this. It would take weeks, and I don't really want to spend weeks animating this thing. Assuming I can even texture it decently, that's sort of the first thing. But I am definitely building this in the theory of animating it. That I will go ahead and do something fancy with it, because that would be cool, I think. Pop that back to 45, and this is obviously where we would love to have permanent pivots, but we've been told that we're not allowed to have that for some reason, which I don't really understand. But even if groups can have a pivot or something like that, would be fantastic for things like this. See, while I've got that selected, I wonder how much further down you can go, because I haven't really. So the problem is there, now that I've hit undo, it's killed my pivot as well. It doesn't keep the pivot for any sort of length of time at all, so that's too far. So you can go to about there. So go another. Well, it's not even 1.3 degrees. It's whatever. Oh, God, this is just such annoying. This is why I don't believe any of those videos where people do things in 5 minutes, because I bet they don't. It's not that easy. Not saying I'm a master of this software by any stretch of the imagination, but it's certainly just on the interface at the moment, it's not that easy. All right, so that's about an extra 12 degrees. Because that was my other thought, was to have them up there, and then when they come down to this, if they come all the way down to this angle, if they were sticking straight up, then they'd be sort of like that. Maybe roughly like that, which would have their leaves sticking out here, and these things go out pretty far on the outside. Or, like I was saying, if I build a hinge system up here, then they could get to this point and then hinge out to here, which I think would be cool as well, and sort of be a bit of an explanation of like, why is this thing built like this, because it makes no sense at all. Why would you put this giant thing on here for no reason other than it's cool to call it a halo and have a round thing? That's anime for you, Does it make sense? No. Will they invent some technology and say that that's a part of the whatever? Yes. So, we'll invent some technology. squishy and say that's the whatever. So they're my two main things. The thing that's really been kicking my ass is organising the power pylons around the halo. And honestly, maybe I should just change that section of the station, because it really has been bugging me that I can't figure out, even inverting this. What if I inverted it? You know what? Save as ion cannon inversion. I'm never go. Just grabbing these. No, don't do that. Because if I did that, I could angle them up a bit more. I thought I got that off angle. I have. I have to sort that out. So then I could do something like that and have them, like if I moved these so that that's on more of that kind of angle, and have it stick out. That'd look cool, wouldn't it? That kind of does look like wings. Ah, you're a genius. Good work, me. So what did I do here? I probably went to do 45 or 50. Probably, yeah. It looks like I've rotated it different amounts. When I've done that, I think that's that they should be straight. But I don't care. I don't care. Doesn't even matter. We're gonna change it anyway. All right. So we'll keep working on this one. What I'm going to do then. There's something else I do want to do while I'm here. Just going to move my chat over here just in case anyone does happen to turn up. It's unlikely since I don't actually advertise these streams at all. But just in case. And I just need to check. So I'm going to do that. Alright, let's go back in and angle these things. Sorry, I've just distracted for a minute there. And then I don't actually have ADHD. Well, I haven't been diagnosed with ADHD at least, but my brain is definitely good at wandering off. I think it's more a concentration issue than ADHD. Alright, 30 degrees. I'm real glad that I've got this object in here that I can reliably go by. 30 degrees. Yeah. I do think that we might have solved my concern here. So let's keep that. Hide you. Don't need you for the second. I might just get that out of the way. Oh, why aren't you all inside there? Alright, so I'll get all that out of the way for the second, because just moving these, or not moving this, but snapping this is a challenge. So Alt click there. Actually, I'll turn on the keyboard thingy. Alright, so, oh, you're not working keyboard thingy. Oh, there it goes. Just took some time. Alright, so, yeah, so Alt click on there to select the whole thing, then we're going to Control D to do clone copy. And this is going to be imprecise because I'm just going to eyeball it in for now. Because I found if you do this on a line, the line does that, faces in the wrong direction, which is not what you want at all. But I did find, at least I found earlier, that I could snap. Probably because I've got X-ray on it, it's probably picking something behind because it's dumb. Yeah, so this is the sort of pro strat here for eyeballing these in place, which isn't going to be ideal for final positioning, and it's kind of hellish to work with. You can see it doesn't even snap on the thing. I think even if I turn this on, yeah, see, it won't snap to the grid through the. And even if we put a thing, it's not going to work. So we're just going to estimate. I mean, hit F to flip it, drop it in, and then this would take any part of 10 years to collect the next one, which I don't even want. All right, so that'll be roughly. I do like it. Let's put our leaf back on. Man, it looks tiny now in profile with that in place. So I either want to make those so much bigger or shrink the crap out of this. And look how long it's taking just to pop up the gizmos. Can we have a gizmo? Is my gizmo somewhere else? Where's my gizmo? I want my gizmo. Please? Gizmo? No, I didn't even uniform scale it. What a muppet. And this is something I've been encountering, plasticity as well. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to blame plasticity for this because it could just be my system. But I've definitely, once I've started doing anything with a lot of pieces or complicated at all, it's really been slowing down. But not even being able to get my movement gizmo, that's a new one. that's not awful. Probably still want them to be a bit bigger, even if I only did it that much. Please, sir, give me Gizmo. Sir, Gizmo. Okay, so if I do that, oh, we should hit center. Oh god, how slow are you going to go? Just have to put up with me being Australian and complaining a lot. Snap it here. Tell it to move in world space anyway. Deselect now, please. So that would bring our hinge point back into here, which isn't awful. Like that just means that the I have to reduce this, but it'll still hinge on the outside of this central column mostly. It's only a tiny bit. Oh god. Please. Honestly, it's probably because I'm running OBS. It's not been this bad. It has definitely not been this bad. Alright, so this is only very slightly inside this line. Let's have a quick... Yeah, so it's only a tiny bit inside there, which I'd be accounting for like width of that having some sort of internal column anyway, so that's fine. And I do think that scales better. I think I would still want... I think I probably still want to make these bigger. Although that looks kind of ridiculous now. But that is definitely a nicer silhouette than the little one. It's not too bad, I guess. Alright, that's something I'll definitely play with. Alright, so I think I'm going to stop this stream already because this is really, really